Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mecca, for your presentation. Let me start sharing now as well on my screen. And let's just begin now. Okay, very good. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for coming. This is another webinar. Today we're going to planify our items. So the idea is that, well, what we're going to see today provides information about how to set up items for inventory planning, right? It also discusses replenishing, right? This is the beginning of the replenishing, actually. Reordering policies. Start learning from the easiest one to set the parameters like the reorder point or maximum inventory, correct? That will be more or less the idea. But then the idea is that we are going to check items, assign a replenishment system, understand the concept of how do we provide according to what some items that we want to purchase automatically. And then we're going to start making some basic exercises, right? So the idea is that I'm going to first open an item and I'm going to show you what it is. Let me just go to the item catalog here. I have different type of items as well for our demos, hardware, food. All of them have different type of requirements, unit of measure, barcodes, and so forth, right? So you can understand then the point that is not that easy. I mean, it's not difficult, the replenishing process, but you need to understand what you're doing and you need to start from scratch, understanding the type of items you work with and what configurations might be important. To begin, I'm going to open one of my items. This is the pineapple. Let me just show you what type of requirements I would use here. First of all, I have my item card, the picture, the pineapple, description, everything here, and I measure this in kilograms. This is very important from now on, right? As well, you need to set up, if necessary, to input your, so to speak, attributes of this item, such as the unit of measure, the barcodes as well. We need. Please check other webinars that look at these identifiers, right, variants, and so forth. So please take a look at our webinars. We have had a lot of webinars regarding inventory lately. Maybe the last month, everything was related to inventory, from the very basics, creating an item like this one, assigning what food would use expiration dates. We have seen that and things like that, right? So today we're going to focus now on, okay, the item is already there. I know the unit of measure, the barcodes, everything, right? Behind the basic configuration. Also, I need to understand the capacity of my company and how I want to start replenishing. So I'm going to work with the basics first. The first idea in order to work with a replenishing process is the planification, right? The planning, I mean, sorry. I was actually translating from Spanish. I'm a Spanish speaker. The planning process, okay, is here. I'm sorry for that. Okay, look at this. We have two basic tabs whenever we want to work. The first one is replenishment, and the second one is planning, okay, that we're going to see just today. So, okay, we want to work with planifying items, okay? So the first that we are going to do is just add a planning setup that we call the reordering policy, where you can see some of these characteristics, right? Where we have different options: fixed, reorder quantity, maximum, order lot for lot. That's what we're going to see today, basically. And actually, from here, we're going to be able to explain a lot of stuff that we need to review. So the idea first then is that in order to plan our items, I want to first to give you another insight of another type of configuration that we have to do, which is just basically the stock keeping unit. Okay, we as well have verified this. So let me explain you. I'm going to create a stock keeping unit, and this I need to recall it before I begin, because this is planification as well for me, but we have seen this in another webinar, the concept of stock keeping unit. Okay, what it is and why do we need it as well for planning? Because, okay, in one warehouse or in the first time I created the item, I know that I will be purchasing kilograms. Already the unit cost is 0.5. Okay, very well. And if I added, you know, some other characteristics, like in this warehouse, I need to receive pallets, but then later I transfer, but the other warehouse, in the other warehouse, I will be manufacturing, producing different levels. In this case, I'm good for a pineapple and I can make cocktails or something like that, salads, and then sell it. But that means that in one warehouse, I will receive my items as a wholesaler. I purchase the pallet and it has a cost, but when I transfer it to the point of sale store or things like that, and where I'm going to then manufacture, then the item will be there, maybe in other unit of measure with other costs. Basically, it's going to increase the cost basically every time I transfer from the main warehouse to other warehouses, right? My items. Basically, that's it, the idea of what a stock keeping unit is. Characteristics per warehouse to manage the item desired. Okay, and in order to do so, I might have, otherwise I can create them now, 1 or 2 stock keeping units. It doesn't have currently. Let me just create one from scratch. I'm going to look at this. We have the function to create a stock keeping unit. Okay. In this case, I'm going to create it per location, where I'm going to filter to create in my main warehouse just one single stock keeping unit. Let's just verify it. The stock keeping unit then is going to allow me to tell, okay, in my main warehouse, I have different, and you might have a lot of different warehouses, right? Then I want in this specific warehouse, the cost to be, I don't know, maybe 1, okay? But as well, the idea is that in this specific warehouse, look at this, we as well have the replenishing and tab functions, okay? So this warehouse as well manage characteristics specifically for this warehouse, only on this warehouse to manage my items in different ways. Look at this. I can purchase my product here in the replenishment tab, but here in this warehouse, I might require one specific vendor if necessary. Okay, things like this, you know. So the idea of time 0003. Okay. I'm going to purchase, okay, in which warehouse, okay, and look at this planning, the reordering policy, okay. What will be the reordering policy? I know which vendor I should use, okay. This will be then part of the replenishing. So let's just start just reviewing it. In the replenishing tab, I can purchase, send to produce, transfer, or assemble this item only in, remember, the main warehouse. Okay, so you get more or less the idea where I have created this. But let's come to the planning. For my main warehouse, I would then use the fixed reorder quantity. Okay, and what is that? The fixed reorder quantity or reordering policy. Okay, specify when a fixed reorder quantity policy in the reordering policy item card, right? This is a configuration that where we are going to need 2 single fields. The reorder point that is here, okay? Just if you want to start learning about it, okay, let's start purchase, create a stock keeping unit card. So the idea is that this is only for one warehouse. This won't be for the entire universe in my company, right? That's good. So let's work only on the stock keeping card level, fixed reorder quantity, and the reorder point that I have here then specifies a quantity which is the trigger for reordering your item. Okay, if you projected available inventory hit or drop hits or drops below the reorder point, Business Central will suggest a planning line. Okay, and what is a planning line? Okay, it's because in the end, you as a replenisher or purchaser, basically, you're going to have a special page where you're going to see all the suggestions before you actually send them to purchase, all right? And then we have then this requisition worksheet that we actually just used, okay? So then this is the trigger, okay? You need to understand then the quantity where you specify here and this should be identical to what you are going to need. This is very quite basic, okay? We have, of course, different type of replenishing processes that will be more advanced later, and all of them have a reason to exist. So the fixed reorder quantity might be maybe related, or the most basic inventory level, to the white t-shirt, okay? To the black cell phone, black shoes, black, I don't know, pants, all right? These items are so common that will be sold anytime. Where you can see that the level is always there, you are gonna always be selling the item, is not seasonal, okay? This doesn't work, the fixed reorder quantity doesn't fix with the seasonal type of items, okay? Just to start learning. Then, if I say then, okay, I'm going to need maybe 50 units to have always, you get it? So the reorder point is specifically that. And then we have the reorder quantity. It's just exactly the same, quite simple. Okay, how much you manage, okay, how you work with that, okay? Maybe I'm going to need, if that's going to be the reorder point is 50 kilograms, which is quite a lot. Maybe I sell fruits, yeah, I'm in a supermarket, things like that, but I can just purchase just maybe 20 kilograms at a time. Maybe the vendor has constraints, but that's up to you, okay? That's something that I would then just require. Or sometimes if I don't want to continue creating multiple purchase orders, why not to order immediately 70 kilograms? If your reorder point, or you already know it, that is only 50, then just reorder a little bit more, right? That will be more or less the process. But remember, always going below the reorder point, okay? I might reorder 70. Okay, it's up to you how you more or less want to manage it. Let's say that I will manage it, half of it. Okay, if I just go below, then immediately, if I get 49 units because I have been selling, I'm going to immediately order 30 more. So in average, I will be having my reorder point level plus the reorder quantity, 80 kilograms. That's more or less what you will really need always, okay? And then the inventory level is going to decrease. Of course, you're going to continue selling the item, okay? And then it's going to start triggering for orders, order proposal, sorry, okay? How do we do that now that we understand this basic concept, okay? So remember, on the stock keeping unit card, we are going to need the vendor, and that would be it, okay? Then the reorder points and reorder quantity, and remember, this is for only one warehouse. Let's just do the same before going to the purchase requisition worksheet. I'm going to create a new stock keeping unit just to understand this concept very well, because this is important for planification, okay? And then the location filter will be there for another warehouse, the East warehouse. Same concept, okay? Going to move to the stock keeping unit card, and look at this. I will be managing one for the main warehouse where I purchase, where I have zero inventory. But remember, I'm just planning, okay? Later, we are going to see, because when you replenish, you need to control that later. You're going to be receiving your purchase measure, your vendors, maybe sometimes stop the flow of the inventory because you stop selling, things like that, okay? So for now, the planification related to the basic ideas is that every warehouse has its own characteristics, right? And in this case, let me just give you an example. The replenishing system that I'm going to use is now transfer order, right? But in this case, I need to indicate that I will be transferring from another warehouse. You remember where I indicated the system where I will be purchasing. Well, guess what? You are now planning, okay? Now I want in Business Central as well to have once again, let's use the fixed reorder quantity, but here I'm going to be selling. I don't have enough space, okay? So my inventory levels, reorder point and reorder quantity will be smaller. But anyway, I need at least look at this quantity. Your reorder point in this warehouse will be that at least you have these units, this amount, and at most, let's say that you are going to have then 20 plus 15, 35 kilograms here. So you need to understand how do we then are going to be working. In one area we can purchase, and in other warehouses that we can indicate, okay, we are going to be able to transfer. Here's where your planning begins. Item by item, yes. But this is why we have these webinars, so you can group your items, you know, with specific characteristics. This is as well very helpful for manufacturing. Manufacturing works with type of items that we are going to say they are ingredients, spare parts, things like that. We yes or just must have this item. How many? Well, more or less, and by my experience, at least 20. Okay. For manufacturing as well, we need to review those numbers, statistics, and other parameters. But the idea is that we first work with the stock keeping unit card, more or less review the inventory levels that we are going to use. So this will be then quite easy if you have experience with your inventory with this type of common, very common items that you always basically just sell. Okay, so this is then the first method. Nothing else, actually it's quite easy, but the thing is that I wanted to explain because we have a network of warehouses that we need to attend, and they are completely different or they are not similar always. The second step is going to the requisition worksheet so you can understand the components, right? As I mentioned, then later in another webinars, we're going to do more complicated examples. Or if you actually want it, we can have a specific training for all these matters, right? For these concepts. But it's good to have at least a webinar that helps us with the actual process. Now, the requisition worksheet, what is this? Okay, here is a place where you as a purchaser, as the head of the supply chain, you are going to be reviewing all the information that is being requested either by Business Central or by the people that works with you. Just to mention, and you might be thinking, okay, should I now, if I start planifying, should I open a then request from another employees? And the answer is yes. In the end, I'm going to explain you what happened with those requests from other people's or internally in basically in every in our company. The accountants are going to require printers, what else, cartridges, you know. So secondary or other items that your people can as well request is not a problem, right? But let me just explain the basics. The requisition worksheet is going to contain all the plan items, like the one with the like the pineapple we just verified, and it's going to include all of them here in this single window, right? That will be basically the idea. So let's just go and verify. How do I then, the requisition, or you as a purchaser, check the information that is required in your company by the planifier or the warehouse manager, or maybe you have purchasers by item group responsible for different type of brands, item countries, etc. Let's just calculate plan first. This is going to include all the items, and it's going to require a starting and ending date, okay, to verify the information, okay? In this case, so if we are currently in June, all right, I want to actually just cover the ending date until today, okay? As well, we have forecast, okay, that will be part of the planning. It's a concept that as well I need to explain, but I cannot bring that topic yet because we are checking yet first our initial concepts, right? But as well, we can include forecast just for us to know. And this is important, planning parameters, okay? What we have done is specifically that. If you already understand that there might be maybe these very profitable items that you always need to have, please go and planify, verify the inventory levels, and start actually requisitioning from it. And I guarantee you that will be fine, okay? Then as long as you understand with your experience that yes, there are items that you always need to have, please click respect planning parameters. So this verifies the reorder quantity, reorder point, and so forth, okay? And that will be, let's just click OK. Now, this is going to as well give us information about what items respecting the planning parameters, right? We identify the planning lines to be triggered. And I have an issue where some of my maximum inventory for some items are not working. Let me verify which one has an issue. That happens sometimes, by the way, it's not a problem. storekeeping unit main, item 1000, location main. Okay. And the good thing as well, now that you see this type of, it's not an error, it's actually an indication that something needs to be reviewed. Okay, somebody configure an item for replenishing. This is something that is telling me an item 1000 where it doesn't have actually a storekeeping units for one of our items, basically. Okay, that is specifically what this is actually just trying to tell me. You started to create some configurations for some items, but you forgot to do some indications, okay, some configs, so to speak. And that will be then basically this message. Let me just correct it and come back to our process. These ones. And it has some storekeeping units for the main warehouse according to this, yes, where it says that somebody indicated maximum inventory to have, but look at this. Nobody indicated the maximum inventory quantity. So that's fine. And if the system detects that something is not correct, it's not going to help you, all right? It's going to indicate you that you need something else that is just missing, maybe the unit of measure, maybe a vendor, and in this case, the maximum inventory for another reordering policy. And you understand now the concept for the storekeeping unit card. So this is then the basic idea. Let me just come back once again. Okay, very fine. In this case, I'm just going to once again open the requisition worksheet and run the plan. Now it's doing so. Let me see if there are no other errors. Apparently, no, now it's running. It might take a little, but it's not a problem. We just need to wait, okay? And let me explain you what it does. Okay, so by identifying information, let me just give some insights, okay? For us, we have just checked some items that are being requested, okay, for that time of period. And what happened here? Let me see. I don't see the 1027. Where is it? The pineapple is here, sorry. Okay, what happened here? Why in one page is everything? This is really, really good for us. In one single page, you are going to be able to verify what is then requested. So this is going to, so to speak, create the purchase orders for you, but or transfer orders, but you need to review the information. For our pineapple, somebody planified that the pineapple needs a new purchase order. Look at this action message is to create something new for the East warehouse and something new for the main warehouse. And this is the pineapple line. Very good. And then this is going to ask me, I need 60 kilograms here and I need 30 kilograms in the other warehouse. Okay. And here is the unit of measure that in the end as well, look at this, it indicates us maybe in other warehouses, you are going to request other type of unit of measures, and that will be fine. And then, very important, the direct unit cost, okay? If you have it, add it. If not, it's not a problem. It's going to create a purchase order. Look at this. It has a direct unit cost. The vendor is the 4,000. And even we know what is the vendor item number. Because yes, the pineapple has a one code for the item, but our vendors do not know our internal item codes. So that's why we refer, please go to our previous webinars, and we are going to detect the vendor item number and look at this. What we should be doing with this line? This is for a purchase, and here this is for a transfer order to be created, okay? And that will be more or less the process, okay? Business Central automatically will suggest basically in this requisition worksheet, the quantity on an item card, which means that the program suggests a fixed reorder quantity, okay? And these are then the quantities that we expect to have. Other type of processes that we can do, just to mention for planification, for you to learn. We as well manage two types of concepts, drop shipment and a special order. Let me explain you what is the difference between what we see here in these first requests. Okay, you as a purchaser are obligated to attend the supply chain for any given company. And let's just classify by color to make it easy this idea. Green purchases will be requests that are not urgent. We planify it because with this, we are going to just do one single purchase anytime we need it, indicated by our inventory levels. And this is a way to planify at least 1 or 2 weeks ahead in time, so you don't go and run with a vendor with a last item that you forgot to include manually, of course, right? Something that you purchase in the supply chain for your company that is not planified for us is green, okay? And even worse, there are these urgent purchase orders that we know that you manage all the time, right? That maybe the director or somebody in the warehouse or in the manufacturing or even in the stores, they suddenly tell you, you know, this is really bad, but I have just gone through the review of the inventory. I have lack, I don't have 10, 20 items there. It's just empty. We cannot work that way, or internally. So maybe in the office, they request you, I need actually 2-3 cartridges plus a printer or something else, and you need to purchase that urgently. But the problem with those purchases, if you allow them, if you don't have this type of a implementation of these functionalities, that you're going to continue to do always red purchases, urgent purchases, and that's not good for the cost of the company. It's better always to plan. And what happened when somebody requests you something urgent? Anyway, it's going to happen once in a while, but we recommend you to actually start measuring that. We offer those reports, right? When we can see that okay, whatever I have created, you know, is not just urgent, not requested today and purchased tomorrow, all right? That's not good. But if that's a requirement, we as well have it. This is the drop shipment and a special order type of processes, okay? From where we can actually speak, you are going to be in charge of all the supply chain. You need to speak as well, not only with the warehouse managers, but as well with the sales order processors or salespeople, right? And from here, they can prepare their sale, and you can immediately from here, we call it special order. Click on get sales order, and immediately is going to look for sales order that were marked by your people as an urgent purchase. Get sales orders, so immediately we can supply whatever they want to sell immediately. So we have this function, and we instruct your salespeople to mark your sales orders accordingly. Another optional process is a drop shipment. As well, this is going to be for urgent sales processes, and we need to link a purchase to supply whatever the customer needs. But with a drop shipment means that we are not going to actually stock our items in the warehouse. From the vendor, we immediately send it to the customer. Okay, that's as well part of our different process that we can just planify. Okay. For now, it's fine. I can see that this creates a lot of line, which has the new, and as well, look at this change quantity, reschedule and change quantity, or even cancel, okay? If by any reason, right, somebody creates more purchases for pineapple, or look at this, yesterday, somebody actually sold my pineapple, okay? This could then be rearranged by your system, by changing the quantity of the purchase order, or even reschedule, right, for another time than the same purchase, because somebody actually is purchasing on the flight, okay, and that could happen. The idea is that the requisition worksheet is the center of all the information. This can view everything. What happened once again is that I just click on calculate plan. This review the purchase order requested by the system. But as well, if somebody was created purchases for me manually, it can just cancel them to then consolidate all the requisition into one single document, so to speak, or even cancel them, okay? When this could happen, okay, if somebody purchased my item yesterday, all right, but as well, I run the requisition at the same time, okay, that will be a problem. So this could be canceling one of the orders, okay, the one that will be run according to our requirements. Okay, that's very easy. Then I'm going to go back because I need to continue explaining parameters and more parameters and parameters. Okay, but they are easy actually. So that was for the pineapple. Let's just verify now strawberry. Okay, 0, 0 as well. I have no inventory, so I'm going to start with this. Okay, maybe yesterday I sold my strawberries, but now I will be working with the maximum inventory, which is as well, once again, in the planning section. From here, I'm going to select now maximum, okay? For you to remember, you can specify maximum quantity as a reordering policy for your item or stock keeping unit card as well. When you select maximum quantity as a reordering policy, right? Let me show you what becomes available. The maximum quantities once again here, okay? For this, we are gonna need just this field, maximum inventory, very easy, right? So from here, I'm gonna need, okay, 100 units. It's not something that I will be then working with. Nothing else is very, very easy. This is the maximum quantity, and this will be then at most what you will be having. So how it behaves is like trying to have always like the same flow of, let's say that we are going to be keeping constant the flow of the items, so I will never going to have variations. If the sales as well, once again, is not going to have this sort of it might have peaks, it's not a problem, but it's not going to have a positive trend, okay? If you know that you're going to be selling an item in Christmas, okay, never use maximum inventory, okay? Only in Christmas, seasonal items. Maximum inventory help us once again with those items that we always want to have, but in this case, this is not going to like in the previous a fixed reorder quantity, just for you to understand the basics, is going to then be shown like waves. You're going to see with the fixed reorder quantity your items growing a little and then decreasing and more or less like flowing, right? A maximum quantity is just going to be almost the same all the time. Okay, if you get an item that you're super sure that you're going to always be selling, maximum inventory is the calculation type for you to go. Okay, so for instance, if you enter a maximum inventory of 100, okay, then if you somehow your available inventory somehow is 50, okay, then just Business Central is going to order the remaining 50 to get 100. So you see, it's so simple, it's very easy. So the only thing that we need to do is understand how which tools we have to planify this. And once again, remember that you should create the stock keeping unit for your warehouses, okay? So let's just do it, for instance, for one of the warehouses. And by the way, for our planning, okay? And for me, when I want to actually work with the reordering policies, you sometimes might say this is critical item. This is part of our plan as well. These webinars is for those items that are super important, okay? If you want to work with seasonal items, if you want to work with items to planify the demand in the future, to have a forecast, okay, I'm going to explain that in other webinars. This is for now just the basics process, okay? And then you need to then understand what you have here. Then for us, the safety lead time and safety stock quantity as well help us for understanding, okay, out of 100 units, that will be always the maximum inventory that I will manage, no more than that kilograms, okay? Okay, 100 kilograms. Anyway, no matter what happened in our life, always please keep 10 kilograms as a safety stock quantity, okay? So to protect to protect you from even fluctuations, okay, of your items. At least no matter what, we always should have 10 units. This is very helpful for manufacturing, by the way. When we implement it, or when you are doing key things, or in your supermarket produce, okay, maybe I need this strawberry for a salad, maybe I need this strawberry for a cake, something that you actually prepare, and you cannot manage to have a loss of this type of items, okay? You always need to have items of this, and this is a safety stock quantity. And then the safety lead time, is that, if that even something that you can ask your vendor, okay, let's just add 1 day, considering that this might be quite urgent, okay? So this is been basically the process for the maximum quantity. I would strongly recommend this configuration. Specify how much you can handle, and remember, your inventory will be always looking like a small pile, okay? It might decrease, but you know that it was sold, and immediately you're gonna get exactly the same level. But as well, if needed, for you who cannot manage to actually have this item lost, you always need to specify a safety stock quantity. This as well works if you want to select fixed reorder quantity, okay? So then I'm going to explain another reordering policy that will be the maximum quantity, okay? That will be, sorry, the lot for lot, okay? If you want to plan items that typically aren't part of your regular inventory, okay, this will be like the first way you as a basic, you should know how to purchase, but in order to start learning how to planify, we have these two main categories for the basic items. The ones that you always sell, where you always must have inventory or even safety stock, okay, those are very important items for you. This is for manufacturing and for the store, those items that are very profitable and you are always selling, okay, not seasonal. This is the base type of item, and you are good to go with inventory levels, okay? What we have seen is just inventory levels, and just for you to know, is the most basic type of replenishing policy, okay? No problem. So now lot for lot, the one that I'm indicating, this is a reordering policy that is triggered but by demand, okay? By sales demand, actually. So you configure lot for lot reordering policy on your item or the stock keeping unit card. And as well, we are gonna explain how it works, okay? Let's say that you want to specify the demand for a specific period into one lot, okay? So maybe I have how lot for lot works. I will be selling, okay? I have no inventory at all. Maybe I need to do a couple of transactions to make the explanation, but actually in a general way, okay, with lot for lot, we are going to have an accumulation period, okay? Think of that. And the accumulation period concept is actually that you are going to use in the advanced replenishing systems or methodologies, okay? The accumulation period that we are going to specify, which multiple demands are accumulated into one supply order when you use for lot, by the way, lot for lot reordering policy. So to speak, now I'm going to speak a supermarket, okay? The lot accumulation period is here, by the way, and I will say, okay, please, Business Central, verify in 1 week all the sales that you have had. That's why I'm entering 1 week, okay? The program will combine all the requirements into 1 week, into one replenishing process, okay? So let's say that you sell the strawberry to many times, okay? Sometimes you sell more, sometimes you sell less, a little bit less, okay? With this method, we are not going to be having the average of the sales, okay? This is for remember, one single period, okay? Only 1 week, no more than that. And then this is going to then help me with the requisition of those items. Let's just make one single transaction. Let's suppose that somebody starts selling. This could be as well your point of sale. I'm going to work with the strawberry now, okay? To make it easy to understand, I'm going to make a new sale where I'm going to then dedicate then my inventory or my accumulation period to be 1 week. Okay, so I'm going to start selling. This is a sales order and where I'm going to include just a customer. The customer already has all the information that we created and is going to be just recalled into my header on of this document. Adatum Corporation is my customer, and then I have all the address, all the general information, and so forth. And then in the item section or the line section is where you're going to be able to tell the system what you will be selling from an item or a fixed asset, or maybe you want to add some charges. What else there? What would be good? For charges will be customs, okay? You need to pay for freight services, insurance, and so forth. Okay, so we can include a lot of stuff into a sales process, but in this case, I want to sell only my strawberry. Okay, very good. In this case, I will be selling from my main warehouse. You can change in the location code section any warehouse that you desire. Okay, so in this case, my main warehouse is from where this customer is asking me, okay, to sell. They will be purchasing today. Let me go to review the quantity. I'm going to sell, so to speak, 50 kilograms of strawberry. I'm a wholesaler, basically. Business Central is going to sell by the unit of measure you desire. Atlanta materials, which is related to the total expenditure for expenses and for taxes, right? And everything will be included in your selling document. The important thing is that you will be shipping 50 units, okay? That's demand, that's already there, it's something requested, okay? The thing is that, well, maybe then later with the salespeople, they normally, or the idea that we have in mind, even though it's difficult to sometimes have a calendar of all the sales, but at least, you know, I will be saying that I will be selling this item next week or in 2 weeks or in 1 month, okay? It's not a problem. But then I want to actually order this is January 2003. Let me change it because my license is currently having 2023. That wouldn't be helpful for my explanation today. Okay, so today is 9 review. All right. So the salesperson is going to be selling, okay? If I add it today, okay, that's already demand. It's demand. It's not a problem. It's just urgent, but maybe the delivery of the items will be at another time. That's not a problem. You can continue selling, but just to learn about these processes, okay? The delivery date could be, why not next week or something like that. It's not dead, but you are already selling, but your customer is just going to request the delivery of the items at another time. Okay, so next week, basically, but you are selling, this is demand. You need to have these items because somebody's requesting this for you. And just for you to know, your people, your salespeople are going to see the items that they have available. You remember that my strawberry, currently, I don't have anything. And this is, look at this, the item availability is -50 now. So you need, in order to plan, to remember that your salesperson is going to be able to see your availability from the very moment they actually sell, okay? So this is what we call, look at this, the gross requirement. This is what we call demand, 50 units currently, okay? And that's it. From here, people are going to continue selling and selling and selling and selling, okay? More and more items. In this case, we are gonna need 50 units, okay? And that will be basically, and then the idea is that coming back, let me just increase it to 2 weeks. So, okay, by checking the accumulation period of the sales by 2 weeks, I'm going to attend the demand for the following 2 weeks if I see the demand, if somebody requested that, and then that will be really helpful for me because the requisition worksheet, like I did with the pineapple, is going to immediately order, remember, the demand plus the maximum inventory, okay? Let's just verify. Let me just delete these items. So the basic process when you calculate your plan, by the way, I forgot to mention that we normally, when we calculate the plan, a part of the process is to calculate it by warehouse. I never recommend to mix or try to include more than one warehouse in our planning process, okay? One by one is better, is more precise, and here you can then, and you're gonna be able to work normally. Let me see, where is my, I can see beer. Oh, the strawberry is not there. Let me see what happened. Okay, maybe I forgot the stock keeping unit, which is, well, something I need to rearrange. Yeah, there is no keeping the stock keeping unit. I thought that is what created, but it's not a problem. This is just create a stock keeping unit, okay, for my main warehouse. Very good. Okay. And the stock keeping unit will be handling then the quantities that are requested for my main warehouse. I will be purchasing the item, and I require the lot for lot with a safety stock, 2 weeks, the same, okay? It's just exactly the same. So let me just come back to my requisition. Requisition worksheet. And let me run again my calculation of the plan. With the plan again. Here is. Okay, now Business Central, after configuring my strawberry to be lot for lot calculation type, look at this. Requested is requesting to have the safety stock at least, okay? For now, because remember, at least have this because I'm gonna need the safety stock, but as long as we go in the future, at some point is going to ask me to have my items that somebody requested, okay, to purchase the strawberry to have and attend the demand in 2 weeks, okay, in 2 weeks. And how do we correlate if you want that to happen as well? Well, this is then important as well to mention. We know that this customer, we need to have as well the information of the vendor, okay, who's going to provide this, okay. After you have it, please input your vendor. This is the vendor item number 009. Okay, and then the lead calculation, lead time calculation is 1 day, okay? But what happens if this vendor requires 2 weeks to deliver, okay? In 2 weeks, I need to deliver my items to the customer, but this is as well telling me that, and this is why my purchase was not created. This is telling me, hey, but the supplier requires as well 2 weeks, okay? It is not a problem. If you don't have enough time to receive the items, to stock them in the warehouse and do all those type of transactions, what we need to do or indicate to our salesperson or salespeople co-workers is to please indicate for us the remaining quantities because they are urgent. I won't have time. And the replenishment system order me the safety stock quantity, that's fine, but it's not order me the quantities for the demand because I don't know how much, or Business Central doesn't know how much the vendor will require. Or even if I cannot supply the item on time, Business Central is not going to ask you to supply anything until you do the following. Okay, so let's say that it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Your customer needs the item, but anyway, he cannot wait for you to process this information, right? Receive the items in the warehouse or do whatever you're gonna need. What can we do? It would be good to actually send it immediately to the client, and this is what we call drop shipment, okay? Let's just click on this. Oh, I forgot that I would need to change the status to reorder. Okay, you see that now how then the lot for lot works. It's going to indicate you when you need to purchase something, okay? where you're going to need to purchase something, but to purchase it on time for you to have it for the customer, okay? But if that's not even going to happen, because remember, this replenishing process is still the basics, okay? We are just learning that we must have inventory levels on time. If that's not going to happen, let's start using and click on drop shipment, okay? And as well, let me explain you this. We have another, let's just purchase as well strawberries, okay? So you get the idea of the planification, what Business Central gives you, what tools we have, okay? Okay, in this case, I want to just, oops, I just got out of the order, sorry. Or this was a bug, this was a quote. Okay. And then the idea is that I need to indicate when I cannot indicate, even with the levels of inventory. That's the bad thing about inventory levels, okay? Let me explain you. When you have other type of variations other than what you have planned, it's gonna crash, okay? The system by itself is not going to help you with that. So that's what I'm talking about, the basics of the planning, okay? The planning. What parameters are important for me? Okay, then the first thing, if you can work with inventory levels, go ahead with that. But this gives you constraints at the moment of working when you don't have the items, okay? Then you need to work at least with something that helps you sending items immediately to the customer. And this is what we have, special and drop shipment, okay? Special order will be coming when you want to indicate, okay, that a customer wants something that is quite different, or that they want to have an assembly order. That's normally when we use special order. So you have another request that your purchasers need to attend differently. The same happened with drop shipment. Drop shipment is actually that we work or manage we as purchases separately, because we are going to send it whenever we purchase from the vendor should send it to the actual customer immediately without having to actually just work with this item in our warehouse, stock it, pick and pack, or putting away, nothing like that. Immediately as you receive it in the warehouse, maybe send it to the customer immediately. For this to happen, you will just have mark my line with this check, okay, drop shipment, and look at this. You need to ask to which address are we gonna send this from our own purchase, okay? So then here in the Datum Corporation, they have the 192 Market Square, meaning that this shipment from the purchase will be going immediately to this address, okay? So that's part as well of the basic exercises that you need to understand that exist in Business Central, okay? So what we're gonna do here, because I know that Business Central is not going to be able to attend my demand because I'm working with inventory levels, okay? And that's fine for those items that I always work normally, the white t-shirt, the black cell phone, things like that. Remember, basic type of replenishing process. Then, if I want to then work with drop shipments, which is super urgent, okay? I know that I don't have time. I don't have time at any moment because the customer requires the strawberries in 2 weeks, but the vendor provides the item in 2 weeks. That's the difficult part always of inventory levels, because the inventory levels need to be received, stock your items, have the correct measurements, and that will be then more or less the actual process, okay? In this case, when that's not even an option, okay, the special and the drop shipment order, if I just by clicking on this option, it immediately gave me those items that are urgently requested, nothing more than that, okay? 50, sorry, not units, kilograms of the strawberry are immediately requested to be attended. Very good. This is the quantity that we are going to need, because this is coming from our sales order. You get the direct unit cost and so forth, okay? Even maybe not yet, okay? Because remember, I haven't yet purchased this, but here I'm going to add the vendor, okay? It doesn't even have it. Okay, not a problem. The thing is that I will only need one single vendor number. For that, you need now in this moment, remember, all of this is suggested. You need to speak with your responsible for the strawberries and add a vendor from you decide you're going to be purchasing. Remember, this is still basic. There are other processes to select different vendors and things like that, okay? But for now, if you want to planify, you're going to use the drop shipment functions to make urgent purchase attended directly to be sent to attend the actual requirement of your demand. So if you want to pay attention on your demand independently of the lot inventory, of the inventory levels, use lot for lot. It's going to help you to purchase whatever you are selling. And in order to do so, either slow with your own pace, with your own dates, or urgently using this way. So I'm just going to carry out the messages which are going to actually create my purchase order for the lines that I'm requesting. Simple as. The lines will immediately disappear, but this gives me the chance to review first what is requested in my company for any given reason. Okay, internally for manufacturing, having connection with your sales person. So the idea is that you get different insights from manufacturing, warehouse, the stores, the salespeople, etc. Everything in one single window. Okay, now related to the actual process that we created just simply purchase orders, automated by Business Central, by inventory levels, by a special or drop shipment processes, okay, and for different vendors, everything at the same time. These are my purchase orders there, okay? So for one of my vendors that is called Whiteboard Importers, I'm requesting now the Coca-Cola, strawberries, with the unit of measures, the total to pay, and this is the purchase order that I planned to have, okay? This exercise just helped me to understand that basically now I'm going to create a purchase order that still needs to have a review now to get the actual last negotiated cost per kilogram for the strawberries. In this case, before sending it to the vendor, you as a purchaser are going to then, after reviewing the requirements, basic requirements of your companies, review your purchase orders, review the direct unit cost, and that will be it. The idea then of this as well is that sometimes, let me just check the option. Order, tracking. Let's see. The idea is that when you are purchasing, okay, sometimes it's very important. Okay, sometimes it's very important to understand the origin of your information. Why are we purchasing this? Why are you purchasing these two items? Okay, and we have the option to see as well, okay, this is the original sales order that somebody requested, where somebody sold strawberry urgently. I don't have time to follow the current warehouse process, and they sold 50 units to be delivered on a specific day, actually next week, but actually I require the next week, 14th of June, these items, okay? And why a replenishment system didn't create? Because the vendor requires 2 weeks to provide this item. So at least what I can do is just create the purchase order that already reserve these units for that customer only, okay? That's another way of working. The basic two concepts that you need to understand, and with this we will be finishing, is that on one hand, you should have inventory levels at least for some items. Second, you need to have the option to attend when you don't have time to provide the items. Suggest to your customers that you can send directly from the vendor to the actual customer the items. And in Business Central, we're going to have two ways of doing this. The inventory levels is a configuration that we do with stock keeping units and inventory levels, right? Second, we have the possibility to link the drop shipment and special orders that help us to push our items directly to the customer. And lot for lot is a very, maybe more helpful. Actually, I use it most of the time and more oftenly, right, than just inventory levels. But the idea of that is that I will be attending whatever I have sold when I sold it. It's like a free inventory level process, which maybe plenty of items will be working like that. And those items as well that I recommend to work with lot for lot are not maybe the most popular items, okay? But nevertheless, I need them. I actually sold them oftenly, very oftenly. So we can combine. So maybe in the main warehouse, you have a maximum inventory, okay? You always have this item in your main warehouse, but your stores, okay, I will be sending to the stores by other type of calculation, maybe lot. And this is very often to do. Let me explain the combination. In my main warehouse, I would use maximum inventory level to always have one specific one type of item that is very popular. But in the other warehouses, I will be using maybe lot for lot. So whatever I sold, immediately transfer from the source where I always have items. And for that to happen, you use stock keeping units. So hoping this helped with the basic concepts. Okay, don't worry, you might be asking, hey, I want more replenishing, I want even to intercept WMS or things like that, you know, how it works, but don't worry. I actually planning, I have had now since I began with inventory like 1 month ago, a lot of webinars to ask me about a lot of inventory processes. What we're gonna have next weeks, WMS, advanced warehousing, advanced replenishing processes, okay, that will be more related maybe to seasons, to why not to review the average of the sales throughout a year, okay? So I better follow the last year pattern instead of just my inventory levels where I know that I will be working all the time with a lot of urgent matters, okay? For those items, believe me. So anyway, the most reliable way of working is with inventory levels because you are always going to have the item, okay? Then the second step is to always be in the understanding of that the replenishing process can be enhanced. We have other processes, other methodologies, other add-ons, even forecast systems that help us to analyze previous historical data. Actually, we have artificial intelligence in Cortana, and I have showed that in other webinars. So things like that we're going to be reviewing. If you want to continue learning about this, please keep in touch. We have just seen part of the basic, which is, once again, just for inventory levels and lot for lot. Okay, if you want more exercises, I can actually provide you, right, with exercises. Please let me know, because this is a very special topic and quite different from the other webinars. This requires practice a lot, right? And for you to understand, actually, because you're going to see sometimes quantities that you might be thinking, why am I having all these requirements? And then when we do an implementation, you have these basic concepts. We help you, of course, with that. It's not a problem. You're not going to be doing a lot if you want to implement replenishing, but this is very good so you can go ahead and understand the basic concepts. And the last thing I will be working as well, I'm going to propose a LS replenishing for stores. If you have the LS retail replenishing system, okay, or you want to use it, if you have LS retail with stores, we are going to ask as well, going to have a series of webinars for you to understand the replenishing process in LS retail. We include more variables only for stores, okay? And that will be, thank you for your time with this concept, basic transactions that we have had. Thank you very much for your time and see you then next webinar.